We are not encouraging or promoting the use of any illegal drugs or activities. Viewers' discretion is advised. Welcome to Wine, Weed and World Travel. We are here to bring you interesting facts and global information about wine, weed and world travel. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. As long as many of us can remember, weed has had a stigma attached to it. But why? People who indulge in weed are often stereotyped as lazy bums who smoke away their problems while the day passes them by. Oftentimes, it is something that most people are timid to share about themselves, unless you're talking to another weed lover, of course. Whether you use weed as a hallucinogen, for medical reasons or for leisure and/or to live a hippie lifestyle, the question remains, why is it so frowned upon? Weed originated from China and began making its way around the globe and to America. Around the early 20th century, the drug reached the United States and an early stigma developed from racist and prejudiced views of its users. Recreational users of the drug were perceived as criminals that would perform deviant acts in society such as steal, rape, and other heinous acts. Aside from advances of its medicinal and spiritual purposes, weed ultimately became known for its role as a recreational drug that was predominantly smoked. Harry Anslinger, head of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, became one of the first high-ranking officials to raise concerns about the drug and push for strict federal regulation of weed. The hippie culture was gaining popularity beginning in the early 60s, and this triggered increased recreational use of psychoactive drugs like peyote, weed and LSD. Further campaigns continued to promote and exaggerate the adverse side effects of weed, and the nation began to listen. In 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act was passed, and it criminalized marijuana and allowed the Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, to strictly regulate its production and distribution. Official passing of a law prohibiting the use of marijuana further built the stigma around it. Due to the fact that the United States was admired by so many countries at that time, similar opinions on weed began to form across the world, and thus, it is classified as an illicit drug in many other countries outside of the United States. Generally, laws are strong driving forces behind creating an image of what behaviors are acceptable in society, and as people we often form our opinions based on that. While the war on drugs was officially inaugurated by Nixon in June 1971, the United States has used drug laws to selectively target specific communities for more than a century. In the 1870s, anti-opium laws were aimed at Chinese immigrants. In the 1910s and 1920s, anti-cannabis laws were introduced in the Midwest and Southwest. John Ehrlichman, a top Nixon aide, revealed in a 1994 interview that was published in 2016, that the war on drugs itself was designed to target black people and hippies when he said, "The Nixon campaign in 1968, and the Nixon White House after that, had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people." You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did.